Hi everybody, welcome to another Prog podcast interview. This is Roy. My guest on this episode is Tom Englund, singer and guitar player, founding member of the band Evergrey. They have a new album on the way called Theories of Emptiness, comes out on June 7th. I got a chance to talk with Tom about the making of the album, their 30-year history, and a whole lot more. But before I get started, just a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us wherever you get your podcasts, on all our socials, progport.com, and check out our Spotify new progressive rock playlist for music from Evergrey and a whole lot more. And now my chat with Tom Englund of Evergrey. Well, good to meet you. Good to have you on here. You know what? I can't believe we haven't had you on the Prog Report yet, ever. So that should be. I should apologize to you for not having you on
Yes, you should.
sooner.
All good. Thanks for having me, man.
Where are you now? Are you back in Sweden doing these interviews now, or?
Yeah, I'm doing. Me and my colleague we're writing so much music for like video games, and we're in a huge deadline week here, so I was totally unprepared for this. So, but whatever, it's all good. I'm eager to talk to you about the album, anyways.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. New album comes out on June 7th, Theories of Emptiness. Just about a week away now that we're talking.
Finally.
Awesome record, man. Sounds amazing. Killer songs. Sort of, I think, is a natural step from the last record, which also had that kind of big, powerful, big choruses. You know, that whole kind of vibe, which is great. I think that track "Save Us" was like one of my favorite songs that year from that record. It was so
Oh,
good.
cool, cool.
But yeah, the new one's great. I was looking, and you guys have now just passed about 30 years as a band. That's about right, right?
Yeah, this sounds very wrong, but it is right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I love to ask that. I mean, when you're starting out, you can't imagine that it'll go that long, right? I mean, does it blow your mind sometimes?
It actually does every day when I think about it. I mean, you guys are reminding me all the time as well. But I mean, it's like I had from fans last year. They started like, "Are you gonna release something special?" Or, blah blah blah. And I didn't even realize because we're so much into we're still doing contemporary stuff that still counts, and Evergrey as a band is still growing, believe it or not, which is weird on your 14th album, but whatever. It's so
Right.
this 30-year celebration is like, sort of been put in a back seat for us, I guess, where it should be in a sense too, because we still feel that we have so much more to give in currently. So, but yeah,
Yes, you didn't really do an official 30th anniversary tour or
we
reissue
released an album
campaign or
like a
anything.
compilation and a book and stuff like that.
Oh,
We did
okay.
that, but I mean, which is pretty cool. It's a cool thing for fans. It's like 100 pages book with special songs and all the photos from day one and all, stuff like that. So yeah, it's cool. But at the same time, it was also during the recording and writing for the new album. So it's like, shit, gotta get this in there too. And
Yeah.
But
I,
it's the same thing every year, no matter what you do. So it's always something
well,
that.
I wonder if you can even remember back to the point of starting the band, and how that all began for you guys, because I'd love to hear a little bit about it from what you can still remember 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we came from a death metal background. Me and my then guitar player Dan Burnell, we felt that we didn't feel at home writing that kind of music in the end. So we felt like we wanted to bring the darkness from the death metal into a more technical type of writing in a sense. But at the same time, we couldn't play at all back then compared to now. But then of course at the same time, Dream Theater came with their breakthrough album, and sort of were the reason for us starting to play. I wouldn't say this kind of music, but starting to become a band at all. I would say they inspired us, and then we quite quickly wrote a demo that we sent to somebody who knew somebody who had a label that was recently started, and then we got a record deal immediately. So, and since then it's been every other year, and this was in 1994 that we got the record
Yeah.
deal. We did a demo in '93, so it's actually 31 years.
Yeah. So this is your 14th album. So yeah, it's really just about every other year. That's pretty
Yeah,
consistent.
yeah, and all the other stuff, live CDs and DVDs and concerts and whatever. So
Yeah.
it's been a
That's
it's been a constant release
It's great,
schedule.
man. It's good to
Yeah,
have longevity and keep growing new fans and
yeah. I'm
continue to put
extremely
out new
grateful
music.
for the fact that
Yeah,
we're still here and also still releasing albums that count and matter to people and to us, of course.
yeah.
So yeah, it's
You
great.
guys just had a little bit of a change in the band,
Yeah.
right? So it was really clever how or nice, I think, how you did in the end of the Say video,
Mm.
where I guess Jonas comes out and says goodbye to the audience, which is really clever. How'd that come about, and talk about the change?
I mean, it was a worthy and graceful departure in a sense. We felt like, I mean, Jonas has been with us first as a drum tech when he was 17 years old, and then recorded his first album with us when he was 19. So he has given more than half of his life, and his departure is not based on any grudges or anything like that. So it's merely based on the fact that he told me that I feel like I'm going away from stuff, not ever feeling like I'm going to something. So, and that's, you don't have much of an argument when somebody says like that. So
Yeah.
it was the done deal, and I'm, you know, the great thing about it is that he's still gonna be part of Evergrey in the production sense,
Oh, cool.
and we have been friends for such a long time that it's more important for us to have him feel good about himself and his future than being the drummer in a band. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And you just announced the new drummer, Simon Sanders, who I know from other bands, and Temek that he was just involved in, and some other stuff. Fantastic drummer, just amazing,
Yeah.
amazing chops. How'd you get hooked up with him?
I actually asked my colleague in my other band, Silent Skies, if
Hmm.
he could post a post on Facebook where it says that he was looking for a drummer. Because if we were starting to search for it, that would have been, you know, all the politics and the labels and the agents and whatever. And we were in the midst of
Right, right,
signing
right.
new stuff with everyone. So it's like, would have been a bad thing to have that come up. So he did that. He posted, I need a drummer that is in this style. And I was looking at it, and it was quite exciting, actually. And then people started to send in to him, you know, playthrough videos, and then I watched a few of them, and I think Siemens stood out in a really great way. Seems so hungry, and you know, also, you know, when you've been playing this long as I have, even if I'm not a virtuoso by my own hands, you still know when people can play by looking at them, in a sense, you know.
Right.
And you see that he has that. He's young and he has a lot to learn, like everybody else. But he's a fantastic drummer already, and he's gonna just flourish and become even greater when playing with old men like us, I think. So
So back to the new record. How long is the writing process typically for you guys when you put a new record on? Has it changed over years? Is it faster, longer, easier? How'd it go?
yeah, I would say it's easier, merely because I think we know what we want to do. We know who we are, and we know what our abilities and boundaries are, and but we have also had the luxury to have a lot of people writing in the band. It's not only me and Jonas who have been producers and writers. We have, you know, sometimes you miss one little riff from a piano player, and that makes the album in a sense. And but to write all of that by your own hands, that's this has been the struggle sometimes. But throughout the years, for the last 5, 6 albums, I think we have come to a working structure that works extremely well for us. We know what we want and how to get there. And for the last album, which was a curveball, Johan, the bass player, had written the foundation for maybe 70% of the material, which was an extreme relief for us because then we could concentrate on making the best songs out of his material. Of course, contributing to whatever he had written from the start. So, but that was a big change. So we started like March last year, and that was quite fast. I would say 18 months usually is because also, you know, you have that touring schedule, and then you write an album. So 18 months usually, but now it's much quicker than that. So
Are you doing the kind of file sharing, sending stuff back to everybody's own computers and doing it that way?
Johan had like 35 ideas that he sent to us, and then we went through them, all of us, and then we asked everyone, what songs do you feel most for, basically. And then we had agreed on like 20 pieces of music that me and Jonas went back to the studio and uh, started writing on. And then we went, then we go back and forth with the band all the time. So, and everybody's there. Maybe, I mean, me and Jonas has been there for the 100% of the time, and Johan has not been there at all since he wrote the stuff. So, so he came back and recorded his bass, but he's happy with that, and that's also cool because here's what I got to contribute with. Do whatever you want with it. He trusts us, and there's nobody ever feels like, oh, I didn't get my part into this song. It's all for the song and for the album. So, yeah.
You good. Guys have it's a really cool mix because at times it's really heavy. It's got that good metal kind of vibe, but I mean, there's some really melodic stuff on these songs, like really catchy. Are you always striving for that in every song to find a hook? Did it come naturally to you to write these big kind of massive choruses, or?
I think it's the Swedish heritage in a sense to write like ABBA, Max Martin, Europe. That we grew up with all of that stuff, and we're still growing with it. But I mean, at the same time, yeah, it comes naturally. We don't set out to let's write a chorus like this, but they become like that. On their own, and that's what's so cool because they take on a life of their own, and then it's so hard to explain how it happens because you must have heard that 1,000 times. You don't know. That's the magic of music. That's
the fascinating thing from fans and interviewers, right? They always want to ask, and I fall into it myself. You always want to ask these musicians, how did you come up with this? How did you do this? How did you do this? And you're right. A lot of times you find out that the artist goes, I don't know.
It's such a boring answer because I would love to tell you that, well, I sit down and I grab my coffee, but it's go to work, man. We go to work 9-10 hours a day, and it's hard labor, but a preferred one, if you will. So, but I mean, that's what we do. And I think if I've come to any conclusion throughout the years, it is that you have to go to work. If you don't go to work, you will never get past those ideas that shouldn't end up on an album, And a few bands today maybe don't give a damn anymore, but we do. For me, it's the most important thing there is outside of my family, of course. But I mean, writing music it's such a big part of me. It's not who I am, but it's such a big part of what I feel is important in life that I take it extremely serious. So yeah, I'm just happy that inspiration keeps on coming, and I think I've written so much music. I write so much music every day that I think I've come to a conclusion that neurologically, I think there's a spot in the brain for creativity, and I think that actually grows the more you write. So I need to talk to somebody about this because what you encounter with people that don't write at all during the time when they are in between albums, they are talking about writing blocks and they're talking about this and that. And for me, I write music all the time, and therefore there's like an ever-flowing stream.
I think that's fair. I mean, I think that's like any muscle, right? Exercise or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. Practice. I mean, it's practicing. We're practicing writing songs. You practice singing, you become a better singer. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of singles out so far, Falling from the Sky and Say, both really, really good songs for people to check out. You worked with Nolly Getgood, noted kind of mixer and musician formerly from Periphery. He's worked with a lot of bands, does some great work. Talk about working with him on this record. Have you worked with him before this one?
No. We worked with a Danish producer called Jacob Hansen for the last 5 albums, and that took us to a new level. And But then, after 5 albums, you become sort of comfortable. You know what to expect from each other, and
Right.
he knows what to expect from us, and vice versa. And that's, that's a warning sign for me. That when that happens, I need to move on.
Yeah.
And so I never listen. I mean, I don't know why I hit him up, to be honest, but I I think I've liked his drum sounds. I think that was it.
Yes, they're excellent. Yeah.
And then I never really listened to Periphery or any of the other bands that he produced. To be honest, I just hit him up on Instagram and asked him straight out of the blue, "Do you want to do our next album?" And he answered within 30 seconds. So I was like,
Wow.
"Damn, he must not have any work at all." No, but he said, and then he said, "I do like 1 or 2 albums per year, and I would love to do it." He said so. And then he came over here, and we set sounds, and he got to know us and our sounds and our amps, and we had already set the drum miking, but he changed things around, and just by him moving microphones like this much, sounding improved by 100%. So and then he went home, and we sent files back and forth, and he started getting a feel for the mix, and extremely easy. He rented
Yeah.
a small house over here by my house with his family. So we had, yeah, he's a lovely, lovely person too.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah. That's got to be interesting when you start to get that feeling where you're working with someone new and noticing things you didn't expect from before, right?
Yeah, yeah, and he also, he told us stuff about us, which was weird. I mean, like that he had seen or could, what do you call it, appreciate from our musicianships, and it was great. So and he also, what happens is when you bring somebody new in, is that you sort of wake up again, and okay, now we can't embarrass ourselves. Now we got to be on our toes, and that's a procedure that I really like, being uncomfortable instead of
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Because that makes me bring out the best I have.
How much has recording changed for you from the early days? Obviously, I mean, maybe from going into a studio to now working at home, but I mean, is it more than that, or is it more challenging these days?
It's so much easier in every aspect of the music making. Like I mentioned before, we make music for video games, huge as video games, and me and my colleague, he lives in North Carolina, and we can sit in real time and listen in full quality, pretty much,
Yeah.
almost real time. But and it's so rewarding because we have done that in Evergrey too. Like me and the drummer, he sits at home, and I can concentrate on my stuff for like 2 hours, and then we can just talk to each other for 2 minutes, and then get to work on our respective computers and instruments. So which is no, I mean I prefer this so much, but I mean we still compose on like real pianos and real guitars, and singing is real, and
Right.
drums are real. For this album, they are extremely real. So
Very
it's
cool.
that aspect that I love too.
So, talk about the video game thing, because I wasn't aware of that from
Yeah,
that
yeah.
aspect of what you do. So, how long have you been involved in video game music?
I came about when during COVID, uh, we were like, yeah, what if this, what if this is it for 10 years? What are people gonna do? They're gonna sit home and play video games. That's my conclusion. So I wrote a Swedish company that owns like 500 video game companies,
Uh-huh.
and then I got a response. Long story short, I got a response from a guy who was the musical director at the company called Saber Interactive in the US. And he said that usually I get like 40 emails per week from guys like you, but now I'm in a I have a problem. I need a music for a video game called Evil Dead by tomorrow. So if you get it to me by tomorrow at 6, I will give you a shot. So me and my buddy, he was here, the North Carolina guy, Vikram Shankar, he was here, and we wrote it in 8 hours, and we sent it over to him. And yeah, he was amazed. And since then, we have done like, I think we're on our 10th game now. So
Wow.
we're doing Jurassic Park, for instance. We have a production company called Silent Skies Productions. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
taking any credit for the Jurassic Park other than getting us the job. But so, but
No,
it's
that's
yeah,
amazing, man. That's very cool. Congrats
yeah,
on that. That's got to be a lot of fun.
it is. It's challenging in different ways. It's you know, and it's also. I mean, I'm writing metal music like a maniac. We done like Space Marine 2, and and all of these passages have a lot of guitars. And so it's a lot of metal music, 10 times more than on an album. So my chops are up now.
All right. So, how much of the game do you get sent, and how do you write to it? Are you watching the game and coming up with ideas and trying to match scenes, or how does that work?
It's different for some games. I just get like a drum beat that Vikram has sent me, and then I compose guitars with that, and then he composed the rest around it and sends it back to me and back and forth like that. And for some games like Jurassic Park, oh, of course, much more intricate, and writing like John Williams is, of course, only a few people can do that in the world, I guess. So,
Yeah.
so there we have like we receive game material, seeing these big dinos and getting strict instructions that this needs to sound like this part from the movies or whatever. So it's it's dynamic and fun, and you get to use another part of your brain instead of being the main composer and deciding everything. It's great.
That sounds fun, man. Congrats. That's very cool. Cool, man. So you also have a tour coming up soon, right? Later this year, promoting the new record. So people can find out about that and see you guys. I guess it's just European tour for now.
We're doing. I think we have 92 shows in Europe this year that we haven't announced yet. Oh, I mean, we have announced like 20 of them, but we're announcing the rest of them next week. So it's like
Wow, that's a pretty big
crazy.
tour. That's a
Yeah,
big
it's
one.
pretty long. And then we hope to get to the US again if we can afford it. All of these visa rules is making it hard on everyone. So
Yeah, yeah, I've heard that. That's
that's
crazy.
what it is. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Congrats on the new record. Again, Theories of Emptiness comes out on June 7th. There's a few tracks out now. Look out for all, I guess, Jurassic Park video game or whatever else is going on.
Yeah,
And
there's three videos. I think we have a new video next week actually coming out for a song called Cold Dreams featuring Katatonia singer Jonas Renkse. So check that
that's
out.
right. You have a Catatonia singer guesting on the record as well. So that's very cool. They're a great band. That's a good match for you guys. Have you guys ever toured together?
We didn't know each other before October, but we did a few shows together with for Arion, which is like a rock project here in Europe. So we
Yeah,
did six
for
shows with them together. So yeah,
that's cool. Awesome, man. Listen, great to meet you. I'm a big fan. You're an unbelievable singer. I love your voice.
thank
And
you so much. Thank you.
yeah, man. And the new album is killer. So great talking to you.
Thank you. Talk soon
All right,
again.
buddy. See
Cheers.
ya. Hey, thanks for checking out the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all our socials and progreport.com. And we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks.